So, what else you got? A fly went by.
This week I was talking to my best friend, and she was saying, I asked her why she wasn't taking her break in the break room. Because the last few times she's called me on her break, she's in the main part of the store. And she said, I can't go in there because if the news is on, which they usually have the news on, she's like, all the racist conversations, I can't deal with them. These people
can't deal with them?
She can't. Because these people, she's worked with, some of them, 10, 15 years, and she considers them her friends, but they are all making really horrid, racist, nasty comments about what's going on with the protests and Black Lives Matter and the people who have been murdered by the police. And she said she just can't, she has to keep her job, so she can't be in the room with them. And she said her friend was up there getting her lunch from the refrigerator, and she could hear them talking about what was going on and all these nasty racist comments, and her friend was livid. She said she was so angry she was shaking. She's like, how am I supposed to maintain friendships with these people? And I said, why do you have to maintain friendships with these people? These aren't your friends, and they've never been your friends.
Come on, coworkers.
Yeah. I'm like, why do you have to even speak with them? Why do you have to... She's like, well, they threw me a baby shower. Okay. They threw you a baby shower. So what? You don't owe them anything. Why do you feel like you owe them when they're talking about your child? Really? They're talking about you. They're talking about your child. They're talking about your partner. They're talking about your family members. Every time they make these comments and have these conversations with you in the room or with knowing that you're there in the building even. Why do you think that they are your friends? And she just couldn't articulate it. She was so... And I said to her, I think this is why living where you've always lived and never seeing outside of your bubble is so inherently dangerous.
Can be, yes, of course. So what's your point?
She was asking me, what do I do? How do I do this? And I said, I don't know, because I can't.
Do what?
How does she continue to maintain relationships with these people? And I said to her, I can't do it, so I don't know how you do it.
No, I don't understand. You're talking about coworkers.
But these are people that she...
relationship to maintain.
These are people that she has gone to their homes, or they've gone out to lunch, or blah, blah, blah.
Does she have to continue doing those things?
I don't think so. I wouldn't say that she'd have to do
So
any
why
of
does
that
she
stuff.
have to maintain a relationship with her coworkers outside of work?
I don't know. She's trying to understand how she deals with this. And I just looked at her and I said, I don't know how you deal with it. This is something you have to deal with. You have to make these choices. Are you going to continue to go to dinner or go hang out or go shopping or something with someone you know is racist? And they you know how they feel about you.
She does understand that she's not part of the community that she lives in.
I think she's known that for a very long time.
You sure?
Yeah, she was the only Mexican family in our entire village.
Yeah, I know, but just because she was the only, black folks run into this all the time. Shit, I did when I was little. You're the only one. You don't get another view. You don't get it, so you feel like you're part of it until some little motherfucker calls you nigger, and then all of a sudden you're like, I'm not part of this group. Which happened. I'll put his ass in a trash can. But anyway, you know what I mean? A lot of people think they're a part of the group until the group shows you're not part of this group. You know, it's like what I was talking about earlier on Facebook. And, you know, I didn't get called Yankee until I went to Black Tuskegee University. That was the first time anybody ever called me a Yankee. I was never, it was never, understand that motherfuckers in the North don't ever call people Yankee.
Never.
But understand that that wasn't a thing that was even thought about. But it wasn't until I went to Alabama that all of a sudden it was, this is our line of demarcation. You are not from here. You're from the North. You are a Yankee. You are outside of us.
Yeah.
You eat your grits with sugar.
Nuh-uh. You do not do that.
Of course I did when I was
No.
little. Karen, you do understand that it wasn't a big deal for us where we were. That's that whole argument, which I've been having on Facebook, that whole argument is only because this is how your family did this thing, which is not any different than any other thing that we do. Your family made a choice to do something one way because of the culture they came from. You take another family that does the similar thing but in a different way in wherever they're from, and the two sides are looking at each other going, you're doing it wrong. How's that different than Civil War? How's that different than fighting over slavery, which I am not 100% on board with the Civil War in the United States was ever fought over just slavery, but it was fought over culture. And it was one side saying this is what culture should be for America, and the other side saying no, it should stay the way it is, and that was it. Now, granted, the one side saying it should stay the way it is part of that culture was slavery. These people should be subjugated so that we can make lots of money. Okay, I get it. But you're still talking about culture. You're still talking about how we do what we do. And I was able to see the good and the benefit of, say, trying and then being able to eat grits a different way. But that's only because I went there. I went to that place, physically left where I was and went to a new place. Whereas the people that were there, they haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
So they're still saying that you can only do this thing the one way. And it's like, no. There's lots of ways to do this. And if you go across the country, I'm sure if we go to California or go other parts of the country, go into the Midwest, the Midwest is crazy because they're going to have a little bit of everything just because their people come from all these different places.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden, grits are cream of wheat.
No.
Which makes them sugary.
Cream
as
of
opposed
wheat
to
is cream of wheat. Grits are served with butter and salt and pepper.
Like I said, everybody has their
Grits should be
thing.
thrown in the trash because they're horrifying and disgusting.
You're crazy. But I just had this conversation with my sister-in-law this week because she had posted something about a woman in the village had made some really nasty racist comments publicly.
Oh, for two.
And people were outside of her house calling her names and basically protesting in front of this woman's house. I don't know why. But my sister-in-law had said that the woman was just a nasty person in general, and then she made these public racist remarks. And my niece was walking past as someone drove by and yelled, "Fucking bitch," and my niece thought it was her. And my sister-in-law had said something about, I try to teach my kids not to be racist and blah, 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 and accepting. And that's where I had to sit back like, but that's not happening. Because my niece says things when we're talking that are so racist and so bigoted and so narrow-minded and so offensive. But she doesn't ever mean it in that way. She just has never experienced anything outside of that village where all the people look like her and all the people think like, she's being taught to think. And so I had to have a conversation with my sister-in-law privately saying, listen, you've got to get them out of there. You've got to travel more. You've got to get, Disneyland isn't the only place that, or Disney World, whatever one is in Florida. World. That's not the only place to see diversity. You've got to take them other places. Get them out of the village, because this is what she's growing up seeing, thinking it's acceptable.
Like the village.
And like the village. I said, when I left the village and moved to Grand Rapids, now our village is less than 1,000 people. And everybody knows everybody, and everyone knows everyone's business. It's just how it is when you live in a place like that. But I moved to Grand Rapids, and for me, it was a huge culture shock. Aaron laughs at me all the time because I say it was such a big city, but it had 100 and something thousand people.
And you came from a place that had 3.
And I came from a place with less than 1,000 people, and so it really was. It was a huge culture shock. The things that I thought and things that I did and things that I had never seen, it really changed me as a person. Within the first 6 months, I was different.
Okay.
But you're
talking about you.
I'm talking about her. No, but it's only because I moved. It's only because I was exposed to other things.
You can move and still be bigoted. You can move and still be discriminatory.
Yes.
You can move and still be racist.
Yes.
So what does moving mean?
You have to get outside of your bubble and experience more diverse areas, more diverse things. See more, do more, experience more, and hopefully you'll grow as a person.
I mean, that's nice.
What if you grow into a worse person?
It's not true, because so many people move and they just take all of their baggage with them, and then they set up shop, and they continue on doing what they thought, felt, believed as they did before. Take a redneck and take him to China. Don't you think there's still going to be a redneck in China?
Yeah.
You think they're going to adapt and change and see the benefit of Buddhism and Confucianism and Taoism?
No.
Really?
No.
Well, okay. So
I mean,
I don't think moving is enough.
We work with those guys.
I don't think moving is enough. I think that people need to have their eyes open to the world around them and understand that there's a worth in knowing about that world, and then the experience has a meaning, like, oh, there is another way to deal with this. You can cook a duck that way?
Oh,
you know what
please
I mean?
cook the duck that way.
It tastes different, and maybe I like it, maybe I don't, but I understand it.
Right.
And I can accept the fact that that's what they do here, and then move on to the next thing. Maybe I just want a lobster. Well, which one do you want? I don't want to choose the one that's going to die. I just want a lobster. Well, can't you choose? No. You got to choose your lobster.
Right.
It's swimming right over there in that tank. So you walk over there and pick the one you want, and they'll take it out, and you go get what?
Or you say, I want frog for dinner. And
but that's
the pot that's sitting over here. And is this one okay?
I mean, I think as Americans, we are not taught. This goes down to the thing that pisses me off every time I hear Rachel Maddow say it, is, the great state of. And then...
or the great city of.
Right. And it's like, I'm sorry, but every city in the United States is not great. Every state is absolutely not great. I understand the idea that if I call every state great, that makes the United States great. It's not great. We're finding that out, and black folks have been telling people this, screaming it from the mountaintops. It's not great. But this idea that it's gotta be great, that's what I call patriotism. It's like, no. I'm sorry. If you're gonna be patriotic, you're gonna see the real place. The what's the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Right.
And then you're going to either work to try to fix those things or whatever. That's patriotism. Just trying to say that every place is good. You know, really, you want to call Ferguson, Missouri good? It's not. Shit, St. Louis ain't even good. You know? But you'd have to go there to find out that it's not good. You know? Riding around parts of Michigan. I mean, Michigan has an actual city called Hell.
Come been on there. Now. I have pictures.
You know? I mean, it's not every place is the best place, and the United States of America is absolutely not the best place in the world. And it should be a work in progress, but we should acknowledge the fact that it's a work in progress and then work. You know, that's what needs to happen. And that's if people think, like, if I'm from Georgia and I think Georgia is the best place on the planet, and I keep getting that reinforced everywhere I go, why would I ever try to make it better? I'm just going to accept the fact that it's already good.
Right.
And everybody is trying to come to the United States because, of course, the United States is better than all the other places in the world. So then I'm never going to look at what's happening in the U.S., in my city, in my state. I'm never going to be looking at any of those things as needing to improve.
Right.
When really our mandate as citizens is to make it improve.
Yeah.
That's what we're supposed to be doing. That's our patriotism. So it's not enough to just go to another place. This is where school meets this problem. Because, you know, like somebody posted today, you know, the idea of native peoples in the Americas owning slaves, Africans as slaves, and then black folks owning slaves. It's like, these are stories that are not really told and people don't really know about it, but it's like, yeah, the first black folks to come to the Americas were not slaves. They were free people or indentured servants, and they were able to buy their freedom, and then they were able to buy slaves.
Right.
People act like that didn't happen. It's like, but the historians know. Why don't you?
My friend's nephew had commented on something I posted about watching documentaries and learning history and blah blah blah, and he said something about, well, who were the first slaves in America? And I said, I'm assuming you're talking about the colonies and not the country, because the child's 14, and he tried to explain to me that the Irish were the first slaves in the country, like in the colonies, and I was like, no, honey. They were called indentured servants, and they could buy their freedom. They worked for a certain amount of time, and then they were free to go. They weren't slaves. But this child is being taught by his black mother and his white stepfather that he is white and that all black, the slavery didn't happen. This is a young man in the South.
Sometimes I wonder if those people are just trying to do like a social experiment.
I wish she was that smart.
Because how can you be that freaking stupid?
Well,
how can you deny something that went on for that long?
No, because they can. It's what we call rewriting history.
They denied the Holocaust happened.
They denied the Holocaust. They denied that people were stolen or sold from Africa and put on boats and brought to the Americas against their will. That story.
Right, they're saying
they say they immigrated.
They were kidnapped.
Okay, so and that's in the history books. Because the immigrated thing was in the history book that I still had from Tuskegee. In my world history book, it said that. And that idea of they came to America for better jobs.
They have
What?
jobs to begin with.
Well, how do you know?
If they were...
You're telling me that an African person did not have a job back in Africa?
No, not the same kind of job.
What? No. Job. You're telling me they didn't have jobs in their communities?
No.
Yeah, you're going down a road that you don't want to go down. That's what I'm saying. Of course they did. There were some people who took care of the cattle. There's some people that raised the plants. There's some people that took care of the children. There's some people that got water. They had a whole community of people.
Medicine
They had
people.
to have, right. They had to have doctors. They probably had to have lawyers. People to settle disputes between people. They had to have all of those jobs. You had to have someone to be the head of the community.
Yep. Just because
Midwives.
they didn't their jobs didn't look the same
Teachers.
as they do now, it doesn't mean that they weren't there.
But
There's
that also-
always
But
been
that also means that they wouldn't necessarily leave
for a better
for
job.
a better job.
They were
Why?
part.
Why? Maybe they
They
did.
take care of different cattle.
No, they just need to, America was better. Even though America, of course, at this time does not exist.
Yeah,
No.
right. But also.
But that's irrelevant. That doesn't matter.
Also, how would they know?
Right, it's not like they got the interwebs.
They didn't travel.
Well, they saw
as
the
much.
people come up on the beach. They know that.
But they
know
didn't
that
know where they were from.
They know that they have all these trinkets and things, and they got money apparently. So, we're going with them because their life
would
must be
those-
better. I mean, look, they came all the way here from wherever they came from.
But would those people? They wouldn't even have like a same concept of currency.
Their gold is kind of universal, unfortunately. They got gold. They know what gold is. And yeah, the people in West Africa, yeah, they had whole cultures that had a whole lots of gold. Remember, Mansa Musa was able to destroy the value of gold in Egypt all by himself. If you want to find the Traveling Fars, you can find us on the YouTube, Facebook, Pinterest, iTunes, Spotify, and any place that good podcasts are sold. If you like the Instagram or the Twitters, you can find us at Traveling Fars. If you like the email, travelingfars@gmail.com, she will be answering your emails. And the blog space, thetravelingfars.blueberry.net. No E's in the blueberry.
Don't forget to check out our Patreon. Patreon.com/thetravelingfars.
Right down there.
Give us your money.
We will take it.
It
Help
would be
us-
much appreciated.
Help us get those new 300 X's.
We'll make you a shirt.
And I think I need a new Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera.
Yeah, but you can't.
6K.
You can't get the Da Vinci. You said.
Oh, I'm gonna need a new computer anyway.
You and me both.
Yeah, your shit is exploding, slowly exploding. It's like the explosion that's happening in slow mo.
You always give your computer to Keegan.
Or just take Keegan's.
Well, don't take hers because she has no NVIDIA anything. You wouldn't be able
No,
to play.
I don't want it.
Oh.
But the mommy.
Oh
would
yeah,
use it.
mommy, you probably need it because.
Say goodbye to the people.
Bye,
I didn't say
people.
peace. Old knees. Say goodbye to the people. Say goodbye to the people.
Bye, people.
Peace. See you in 3, 4, 5 weeks or something. Somewhere around there.
5. Several weeks.